Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
Call this meeting to order May 17th, 2021 at 5:30, Rockingham School Board. I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Any adjustments to the agenda? I think there was one last minute one. Chris, maybe?
Yes, that is correct.
So let's see. That was 9A, correct?
Yes.
Leave of absence can be removed. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just double checking real quick.
I think that's what I saw from Nicole.
Yes, 9A, leave of absence is no longer needed for tonight's meeting.
Okay. Scratch that. Any other adjustments? We do have an executive session that will come in after director's comments, it looks like. Negotiations update. Any other adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none. All right, moving on. Communications and public comment. Anybody in the public have anything they'd like to offer? Anything like to say? Now is the time.
I don't see any hands up in the participation window or in the chat. So we have the chat turned off anyways, but I don't see anything, George.
Okay, very good. Moving on. Review and approve board minutes for April 5th. So Priscilla did let me know that she did some sleuthing for old unapproved board minutes. I think what I'd like to do, Priscilla, and I probably should have talked about this a minute ago, but is add that to the next meeting so we can make sure that they get populated. I didn't send them out to other board members is really what it was. So we can put that on the agenda for next time if that's okay.
I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay. So review and approve board minutes for April 5th. Has everybody gone over those? They look okay.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve them.
Do I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Priscilla?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Jason Terry?
Aye, George.
Jason Benson?
Aye.
Very good. Minutes are approved. Moving on. Reports. Principals report. Been a while. How you guys doing? Who'd like to go first?
I'm happy to go.
All right, Ms. Hazard, fire away.
It's good to see you all. Seems like it's been ages. Okay, so we are at 71 students with 7 VTVLC students. We're doing really, really well since our 5 days back, and it's great to be 5 days back. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Saxons River Elementary PTO for the very generous gift card tree that they made and provided for our entire staff for Teacher Staff Appreciation Week. They're a super thoughtful bunch, and so big shout out to them. May, as you know, is filled with a ton of transition meetings for incoming students and outgoing students. We also at the Rockingham level have divided our kindergarten students, and we have about 16 in each classroom. And I've invited them to a family Zoom, and our Zoom is going to be held this Thursday, the 20th at 5:30. So looking forward to meeting all the families, new families. MAP assessments. Spring MAP is scheduled for the week of May 24th. We're going to do our 3rd and 4th graders, and the week of May 31st, our K through 2. We are in the middle of the hiring process for both a classroom teacher and a library media specialist. So that's keeping us busy as well. In addition, we're making plans for our move-up ceremony, which will take place again outside this year, and we'll have that on June 8th with a rain date of June 9th. Our new playground swings and signage both have been ordered, and we're guessing that the work hopefully will take place in between that very short window when school ends and summer camp begins, but that's the hope. So we'll see how it comes together. Let's see, summer camp plans are in the works. I know Dr. Carey has done a ton of work around this, and so we will be offering 6 weeks of summer camp, July 6th through August 13th, each with a different theme. And as of today, we have 37 campers at Saxons River, and our current 4th graders will be attending that camp at the middle school. We also plan to attend our traditional scamp camp for incoming kindergartners, and we're just getting started with those plans right now. Other super exciting news, Linda in our kitchen, who, if you know her, she's awesome. But we started to offer a weekend snack bag to all of our kids. And so every Friday before they leave the building, they can pick up a bag which is filled with snacks, yogurt, cheese, smart food, fruit bars, etc. And they have the option of starting their weekend off with a sack full of snacks. Let's see, we do have an early release coming up on May 28th, and classroom teachers will be digging into the Engineering is Elementary materials with Tina Smith. She'll be providing the PD, and those resources, I've worked with them before, are excellent. Lots of hands-on engineering investigations for students. And specialists will continue their curriculum work. We have a special outdoor performance with a local performer for students this Friday. I'm kind of keeping it secret for them. We're doing a countdown, and so they'll be thrilled when that happens on Friday. Girls on the Run is going strong at Saxons River. They meet every Monday and Thursday, and they're going to do their 5K on June 10th. We have field days scheduled for June 11th, and the last day of school is scheduled for June 14th. The other big thing that we did, and I put it out to families, was we crafted our Given the Core Values vision and mission statement. So hopefully you saw that in the newsletter, but super proud of the work that was done to pull all of that together. So lots has been happening, and lots will continue to happen until the end of the school year. It's very busy May and June, but we're doing really well. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Hazard? Comments? Priscilla?
Yeah, Laura, I think you're doing some gardening out behind the school, right?
We are actually not as of right now, but VA has been down there, and the local garden crew has been, but the students have not been as of yet.
Okay, that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
So that in years past, they've been involved with that though, right? It's most likely due to our COVID situation.
Yeah, they have, and I've talked with the teachers about it, and they are feeling like super pressured to get in as much academics as they can, and with the plans that they already have for science in place, and so they want to just maximize what they have for the in-person instruction. Not to say that gardening is not valuable, because it certainly is. There's lots of life lessons and academics there, but we're going to do the same thing this year that we did last year, and that is primarily plant a big pumpkin patch. And then in the fall, much like we did this year, there's lots of like mathematical and science experiments that can happen with that in ELA as well. And then next year, hopefully we'll dig into the dirt again.
Excellent.
Thank you. Sounds super.
Any other questions, comments from Ms. Hazard? Hearing none, thank you very much. Ms. Kennedy, I see you right next door there. Hi, how are you?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So I have a lot of similar things as Laura, but a few changes as well. So same report for the 5 days. It's going super well. Parents are exactly glad to have students back in. Students are really glad to be back in, and staff as well. So that's great. Our PTCO did another great thing for the Staff Appreciation Week, where they did cookies and gift certificates to Little Lee's. So everybody was quite happy and thankful for those appreciation pieces that they did. So thank you again, PTCO. We had another donation on Friday from our former student, actually, Ella Noyes, and she came back and is actually a librarian and did a donation with the Rotarians. And so it's a program called Free to Read. And so she worked with Vermont Academy students to decorate bags for all of our 4th graders. So the VTVLC students will be getting theirs soon, and any homeschool students as well. But we have a book donation from Friday that has 7 different books. And the kids got to go into the room and see what was going on. And Ella came back. It was nice to see her for Miss Camel, who had her as a former student. And the students had actually opportunity to do some little book trading. So it was kind of like old school baseball cards, where they had to get a chance to take their books. They had their 7 books, and were able to kind of work together and, trade some different books if they wanted some other different titles. So that was fabulous. And then they got right into reading. So we appreciate the Rotarians and also Ella for her donation there. We also have our kindergarten Zoom meeting coming up on the 26th. For incoming students at 6 p.m. and we'll be sending out the link for that to all the applicable families. We also have our new playground signage that came in, the same as Laura. We are waiting on mulch update and then getting some new equipment upgrades, or some pieces that needed to be some freshened up and things. So we are also doing our summer camp. We have the Camp Achieve. We have 50 students that will be participating from Central. We do have a wait list, unfortunately, for some families. So if any changes happen, we'll be updating the wait list. But we're super excited to have everybody in there. And again, Dr. Carey is really working hard to make sure we have some presenters, field trips, and a lot of fun activities happening. We have Scamp Camp coming up, and that'll be in the works for the kindergarten students to come back. Same thing on the professional development on the 28th at half day. I'll be working on the science and engineering kits. We also have Girls in the Run, so it's very similar too. We don't have a date for our 5K, but we're working on that as far as I know. So the girls are really participating and enjoying their time with Girls in the Run. Our second graders have applied for, and we were given a farm to school grant in partnership with Shelburne Farms. And so we'll be having a chance to work closely with them. We'll have an on-site, well, actually a garden to work on-site, and then getting a chance to go to their farm, and then having a coach to work with us on that. And that's in conjunction with our librarian, our PE teacher, Erica Frank, and our cafeteria and our nutrition manager, and really working on that. Hands in the dirt next year and things too. But so similar to Laura, we're going to be spending a lot of time next year getting into that. So we finished our SBAC testing and had a great support. We thank all the families for getting students into school and then rested. And we had the breakfast program, which was fabulous, to make sure that they had breakfast before they started each day. And then we're actually gearing up now for MAPS testing next week. So we will get everybody in and ready to go next week, and hopefully see a lot of growth. We also are doing a partnership for 4th grade with Heather Warriors from the high school. Her students were able to actually work on an anti-vaping course for the students in 4th grade. And they actually did a Kahoot quiz the other day. And so the students get a chance to kind of click on an ABCD quiz online, and to see, we had some students that were able to show all that they've learned about anti-vaping, which is great. And then just planning up the end of the year. So right now we have our moving up ceremony planned on June 9th from 5 to 6 p.m. at the high school. The rain date is on the 10th at 6:45 p.m. We're hoping for no rain, and it will be similar to last year. And so basically it's a reverse parade where the students will be parked at their cars, and others will parade around and say congratulations to them. We don't have a place on site to have an in-person ceremony, maybe next year. We're also working on our field day, trying to make sure we have everything ready for not some families this year, unfortunately, but for students at least. And then we'll see, but we don't have a specific date for that just yet. We are working on our teacher placements for next year. We have actually hired Ms. Laura Rounds, who will be teaching 4th grade with Jamie Camel. And then we're still working on all the other grades to make sure we have everybody where we need to be. And then unfortunately, Mr. Scarlett, our counselor, is also leaving us. So we will be making sure we get a good replacement for Mr. Scarlett. And so we had already talked about some other staff that are leaving, so we want to make sure we've got some good replacements, but also wish everybody well who is leaving and thank them for their service in many, many years in many cases. So that's pretty much about it for our updates from Central right now. Any questions?
Questions, comments for Ms. Kennedy? Hearing none. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Bukowski, I saw you here. Oh, there you are.
Yep. Good evening. I'll start out. Our total in-person enrollment is at 193. Over the course of the school year, we've had 16 VTVLC students return to us. Our April ADA was 92%, and our overall school year ADA thus far is 89%. As most of you are probably aware, we had an individual that tested positive for COVID. This was confirmed with me on Sunday, May 9th with the health department, and we identified over 50 individuals that were close contact, and many of those had not been fully or have not been fully vaccinated. April 20th was the day that they had to receive their second shot. So that meant that would be the fully vaccinated. Anybody that received a shot and had their 2-week period that ended by April 20th. As I said, there were over 50 individuals. Because of the timing and the large number of close contacts, the decision was made for us to be remote Monday through Wednesday of last week. And that decision was made based on the recommendation of the health professionals. I'm happy to report that as of today, this is still an isolated case, and everyone so far has tested negative, although we do still have a few individuals that have chose to observe the 14-day quarantine instead of getting tested after 7. We are doing our MAP testing this week, and that will conclude all of our student assessments for the school year. I would also like to thank our PTO for the really nice, not a gift bag, I guess I call it a gift bottle that all of the staff received, filled with a variety of things in a usable, reusable water bottle. Our extracurricular sports have started. We have 12 boys or 13 boys playing baseball, 12 girls playing softball, and 19 individuals in track. Our AIM program has been going strong through this, and we have 38 students participating in the spring AIM program. So we talk about the end of the year. Our plans are underway for this year's 8th grade moving up ceremony. It will be on Thursday, June 10th at the high school, following the same format that we followed last year. The rain date is June 11th. And of course, we'll be adhering to all protocols. Other end of the year activities, our various teams are exploring options, looking at using the BF Rec department and the Opera House for a movie. Again, we're making sure that all protocols are followed. And virtual transition activities are being planned for students from Central, Saxons River, Westminster, and Grafton this spring. And I'm hopeful that the new Student Academy will be resurrected sometime in August, so that incoming students and their families can visit BFMS in person. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Bukowski? Priscilla, go ahead.
Missed my phone, sorry. Someone will get it. Yes, I had 2 questions. What time is the graduation this year? And are you back now 5 days a week?
This will be our first week back 5 days a week. It would have been last week, but obviously with the case. And the ceremony will be at 5 o'clock.
Can I also ask of Laura what time hers is? I missed that.
Sure, we are starting at 5:30.
5. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? I'd just like to say, I see Chris, after a quick comment, I'd just like to say that, last week was the actual definition of a pivot, and it's okay. Sometimes we're gonna have to move back and forth a little bit once in a while, and I think for what it's worth, I think you guys did a nice job. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to mention in regards to the pre-K program that's currently up at Cherry Hill, they will not be at Cherry Hill next year. Jennifer Wolf and Principal Kennedy have been working, and I'm having it moved down to Central School. There's been some real serious issues with that building since the central office moved out. And so we've made the decision to move the pre-K program down to Central School. And I'd like to thank Jennifer Wolf and Principal Kennedy for working with me on this and making it happen. I think we can all agree that it's great to have pre-K students in a school where it's just one less transition they have to make. But this is someone we had to make a decision quite quickly on. So I wanted the board to be aware of that. The Cherry Hill program will be down at Central School next year.
It's great. Obviously there's plenty of room there to accommodate them. I'm assuming they're going to be in a different section of the building, or
They'll be if you're walking in, I believe it's the back room on the right. People refer to it as the one that the car went through, I guess. I don't know what that means, but that's where it is. And so, Principal Kennedy and Principal Wolf have been, working to make all the final arrangements on where the room is located. Principal Kennedy can talk a little bit about where the room actually is located.
I've been in, you can count on one hand how many times I've been beyond the gym, so I wouldn't know, but it sounds great. If it's if you guys think it's a positive move, then I think it's great. Any other questions, comments before we move on from principal's reports? Priscilla, go ahead.
Yeah, just a clarification. When you walk in, is it straight down the corridor, or you go down the right to the smaller? The rooms down to the right were always the ones that were lower bathrooms and toilets and that. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not figuring out where it is.
If you walk into the front doors from the main entrance, you turn to the right past the nurse's office, and it's straight down at the end of that hallway. And there is an egress, ingress, point right on the door, right to the side. It's directly north of the library. So it's the room just to the right of the library if you're looking at the walls. It has a bathroom.
That used to be kindergarten when the building first opened.
I believe so, yeah.
2 kindergarten.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it has a bathroom and it has some cubbies and it has a sink in it too. So it was one of the determining factors on where to put it.
Very good. Anything else before moving on? Sounds good. Thank you, guys, principals. Great reports. Appreciate it. Where are we? Business office. I see Miss Pagan. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good. You're up.
So we are working in the business office on the closing of the year. We have some changes with e-finance and state codes. So we're working directly with e-finance so we can update everything and have a smooth transition. And hopefully it'll look better for next year's budget and codes, and easier for people to understand those codes. We're working as well with e-finance on a project implementing timesheets and having everything paperless. I do have the final report from HR of the amounts of contracts that we sent out and the amount that we have back. So we did send out 59 contracts. We have back 53. And the 6 contract pendings are extension that they have requested. 5 extensions for the middle school and 1 for Saxon. Out of those 5 extensions, the 5 extensions for the middle schools is 2 social studies teacher, 2 language arts, and 1 math teacher. And the 1 for Saxon is a PE teacher. And that's all of our updates.
Any questions, comments or Miss Pagan? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we? SU board. SU board update. So I think a good portion of us were there. Probably a lot of you tuned in. Anyway, we got Chris gave a great presentation on the ESSER grants and how they're applied. He put together a nice presentation for that, which you can go back and watch the video. It's actually it was really good. I found it valuable. Also, summer school stuff. Dr. Carey gave a great presentation on what's going on this summer with the schools, and so I'd actually encourage any parents to go back and watch that video on Fact TV. There's a lot of good stuff happening there. Other than that, it was pretty business as usual. Unless anybody has anything else that they recall that should be brought up for an update, I think we're good. Seeing nobody. Terrific. Committees, policy committee. Priscilla, you want to do that, or you want me to do it, or? I mean, it's pretty basic.
Just short and brief. We set the agenda for a meeting to be this Thursday, starting at 5:15. It will start after polling the members. We decided to move it just a little bit later. And we will be discussing the two policies that were on the agenda because we wanted to review them before the meeting rather than just in the meeting. So we kind of just discussed, you know, the way it works, and the committee will review them ahead of time, and then we'll discuss changes at the meeting. So we're discussing the two policies that were on the agenda last time this Thursday.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was you know, procedural, getting our, you know, dabbing our toes in the water. Okay, this is what we're going to work on, and you know, meet again next week, and so you know, hash it out, and again, eventually present it to boards. So not much there. Anything else, policy committee? Priscilla, you good?
Good.
Excellent.
Thanks for adding.
Moving on. Negotiation update will be executive session at the end. Unfinished business for discussion, action, if any. 7A, teacher retirement incentive deadline waiver request. So we had a couple of requests. One of them, come to find out, actually is not employed by Rockingham. So we're only looking at one request tonight. And that is of Ms. Obahowski, I believe, to waive the waiver deadline, which was October. So that's what we're talking about. Anybody want to start off with any comments, any thoughts? Anyone wants to jump in, or I can just keep talking? Go ahead, Megan.
Hi, George. Can you hear me? I have a new fancy mic. Cool.
Right
So I started this asking a lot of questions because I was kind of slow to join the board in October. And I don't want to eat up a bunch of time, but I had a couple angles that I wanted to present my thoughts from when it came to this request. And I'll be the first one to admit that I'm pretty biased when it comes to decisions like this, thanks to the nature of my day job and to the fact that I've got 4 kids intertwined in this district. And I feel like I pretty much know every teacher, student, and family by name and face. I mean, it is what it is. I name my bias and I own it. So I've also come to recognize that this particular decision is often an either or. Either you make a decision by a deadline or you're out of luck. And I don't really like either or decisions. And I think they leave a lot of room for maybe damaged relationships, maybe some mistrust. And I like to think a lot of times there's room for and also solutions. So we can do service to our taxpayers and also our teachers. And in situations where, you know, teachers have been without contracts, when they've taught through this unprecedented pandemic, and when the board has at its disposal the ability to utilize a waiver, I think these are the situations with the perfect mix of ingredients that can create these and also solutions. I also I felt like this decision was way bigger than my personal opinion as a board member because it's dealing with money and I get really nervous about making the wrong decision, whatever that is. So I spent the past 3 weeks asking anybody and everybody I could what they thought about the situation, about this request, kind of like a straw poll. And I asked everybody that looked like they might not pepper spray me what their thoughts were on this matter everywhere I went. I took notes, y'all, too, and learned that despite all the chaos in my life, I'm kind of a data nerd because I've got spreadsheets now and quotes and stuff. It was actually kind of fun. And it turns out, thanks to like recent newspaper articles, people are paying attention and they knew exactly what I was talking about. I didn't really have to explain what I meant. And I think that goes to show me this past year has given us a community that's paying attention to every move we make here, for better or for worse. And if that doesn't put more pressure to put the dot on the right thing, I don't know what does. So when I started this whole project, I made a promise that no matter what my personal inclination was, my role in this particular decision, excuse me, was to follow the community's lead and be their voice, which I'm sure I'm supposed to be doing anyway. But you know, everything we put our vote to isn't always so cut and dry. So at the end of yesterday, I had straw polled 33 residents, all voters, married, single, with children, with grown children, with no children, never want to have children. And I tracked it all. And I'm not going to draw this out, but at the end of the day, I had 25 voters who were 100% in favor of granting the stipend to these teachers out of 33. And I'm not sharing names, but to directly quote one who gave me express permission, he said, "I have no children in the district, and I would be glad to see the money I contribute to this community through taxes go to teachers in this manner." But to be fair and balanced, one of the no votes was very kind. It says, "These are wonderful teachers, but a deadline is a deadline, unfortunately, and it could set a dangerous precedent." But out of 33, help me do the math here, 7 no, 25 yes, I'm off. Yeah, I need to go back to school, but 25 said yes to this issue. So giant caveat, I know nothing about how I went about this is scientific. I just wanted to illustrate tonight that sometimes we might assume we know what our base wants, but until we ask them, we can never be certain, because I didn't know where this little exercise would take me, other than with like a no trespass order, but luckily I'm okay. The other angle I wanted to present this from has to do with relationships and goodwill building, because as of this morning, Vermont, with our population of 630, I have notes, 637,000, we have 567 open classroom teacher jobs right now. And so think about that. Our next door neighbor, New Hampshire, has a population of 1.36 million, and they've got 521 jobs listed for classroom teachers. In our district alone, I searched through and I saw 4 openings for classroom teachers, and 3 of those are in schools governed by this board. So I'm not saying that granting an exception to the waiver deadline will magically fix anything or guarantee any amount of success in filling these open positions, but I do think it'll show grace and even, here's hoping, like a little kindness to our staff members in a year that we're going to be looking to replace a number of positions, and that every decision we make is being watched closely. So is it a magic fix? No. Could it do some good and show that as a board, we're human, we're flexible, and we're willing to look beyond either or? I think absolutely. So thank you, George.
Like an Applegate, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That's a great perspective, and I appreciate it. Any other comments, concerns? I'll put mine out there. Priscilla, I see your hand. I'll go ahead and go first. So I polled a few people too. Certainly not 33. A few that I did talk to actually were part of the development of that stipend, and so I'm just going to put out that the idea of it was, this is what I gathered, the idea was that those that would be retiring, those have been here a long time, because it says, you know, you have to have tenure in order to even qualify for this. to begin with. So those who were planning to retire, if they did so early enough, the October deadline, I can't remember, is it the beginning of October or the end of October? Beginning?
October 1st.
So that October deadline was so that it was prior to finalizing a budget. So it was for budget planning purposes. I think we can all agree that looking at anybody who's asking for this is completely separate from what the language and intent of the stipend was supposed to be. So for me personally, if it was, November, December maybe, or even prior to budget finalization, I'd be more inclined to, to waive it. But I think for me personally, I'm in the camp of holding true to the language as it was written. I'm happy to hear others' thoughts, and and it's perfect. I offer that respectfully. So, Jason Benson, I see your hand up. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, thanks, George. I think in other years when we have extreme excess of funds and we haven't chipped and squeezed and gotten every drop out of the budget that we possibly could, that we might be a little more prone to be able to bend the rules. But again, that's the other side of this, is it is bending the rules. It's going against the policy that's been established, and what's it going to do in the future? I don't know. I'm in the George camp at this point. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Anybody else have any comments? Do we need to? I'll let you guys decide. I see your hand. I'll let you guys decide if we even want to put it to a vote, or if we don't want to. The language will hold on its own. It's up to you guys. If you want to have a motion, feel free to, offer that up once we're at that point. But we'll go through again and make sure we got everybody. Priscilla, go ahead.
Yes, one other reason that it's in there is to give the board the chance to hire early in the year, rather than waiting till contract time is up or until somebody has done that. The request was just a blanket request without any note of any extenuating circumstances or any of those things. I do know that, boards have been prone to waive the time limit when there were extenuating circumstances. Or when there was, some discussion before, retiring, if a person was on the fence and they had some extenuating circumstances and they had to make those decisions, then it was possible to get the stipend there. I would love to know if Ms. Obahoski has any extenuating circumstances that would impact our decision in a favorable light, because without extenuating circumstances, I guess I would kind of go with what the contract says, because it's in there for a reason, and that's for our negotiators to work on. I do think October 1st is a little early. It used to be December 1st, and that was a negotiation thing on the part of the negotiating committees last time when they did a new contract. It might be something that could be discussed during negotiations as to whether that is too early for people, and maybe our negotiating committee would be willing to adjust that in the future. But at this point, we're kind of stuck with just a blanket request without any backup and waiver. Although, having been a teacher, I sure do appreciate our teachers. And I do think that maybe if we're not going to grant that, maybe we want to consider talking with her and giving some kind of something that shows our appreciation for her for having been with us so many years, such as a gift or something else. That could be there, and that could be monetary as well if she preferred that.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, well, now's the time. Either, the way I see it, either the language stands unless I hear a motion for a vote. We were able to discuss it because it's on our agenda, so if somebody wants to make a motion, feel free. Otherwise, the language will stand as it was written. Megan, I see your hand.
George, I would regret it if I didn't at least make the motion tonight. So I move to approve the request for the stipend submitted by Terry Obahoski. Let me know if I worded that right.
It's good to me. I think we all
Okay.
get the essence.
Thank you.
Do I get a second? Remember, a second just enables continued conversation on the motion itself. Priscilla, get a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay.
Although we can more
Conversation, discussion on the motion presented. Hearing none. We're ready to move to a vote already. Okay. Megan.
Yes.
Jason Terry. I'll come back to you. Jason Benson.
No.
Priscilla. Am I muted, Priscilla?
go to Jason, please.
Wait a minute. So we got a yes from Megan. We have a no from Jason Benson. Jason Terry.
This is really tough, George.
Got to make a move. Priscilla or Jason Terry. Got to make a move.
I'd like to. I'd like to abstain.
Okay. Priscilla.
I'm going to abstain.
You guys are awesome. Priscilla abstained, so that leaves it to me, right? For me, it is a no, and it has nothing to do with anything personal. It's perfectly objective, not perfectly, but it's objective, and I'm sticking with the intent behind this incentive itself. So for me, it's a no. So do we have to have
George,
Yeah.
can I ask that if Terry wants to come back to discuss anything with us, that she should do that as well.
Well,
But also we can discuss if we want to give a gift to her later.
as a director, you're welcome to have things added to the agenda. So if people want to do that, that's fine. I think we're kind of trying to find a way to say yes, to be honest, and but I'll go along with whatever board members want to do. It's a team effort here. So back to before we go there, though, I have 2 no's and 1 yes and 2 abstained. Do we need to have half for you have to have half to approve, right? Or is it just majority?
The motion fails.
Well, that's good. I mean,
You have enough. The motion fails.
Okay. So the motion does not pass. So at this point, we're moving on, right? Let's see, where are we? Appointments, resignations, if any. There was a list of them, right? I'm going to look to principals and superintendent. Do it as a group or individually. You guys got a list of folks that are resigning? I think Nicole sent one out earlier today.
Yes, she did. I can just read it real quick so we all on the same page in regards to what we're looking at. Let's see. Rockingham has a total of 6 extensions and 7 people that are resigning and or retiring. Some have already been discussed at prior meetings.
Okay, I see the list here. Yeah.
See the list?
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. The only one I think on this list, the only 2 is Miss Bukowski and Miss Obuchowski. Is that correct?
Yeah, the only ones who have already been discussed are those 2. Is
What about Mr.
Anthony Serrani.
We haven't accepted his resignation yet.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Couple meetings
Yeah.
ago.
Okay. All right. So Nicole's got it right then. So it looks like we have 4 new ones. Sad to see this list for sure. Miss Bazawi, our nurse, Miss Hodson, Mr. Scarlett, and Miss Petrowski. So I'll entertain a motion to reluctantly accept their resignations.
I will make a motion that we reluctantly accept the resignations, but I'd like to know what positions they are also that we're talking about, and that give me the names.
You want the positions and then the names?
Sure.
Okay, so Nicole, okay, I see. She just sent it to you and I, Chris, so I'll forward this along to you guys too. But it's Erica Bazawi, 7th and 8th grade science, middle school. Jean Hodgson, nurse at the middle school. William Scarlett, guidance at Central. And Melissa Petrowski, librarian at Saxons River.
I will reluctantly second the motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Oh, Priscilla.
Let me just to say that, they will be greatly missed, and sad that we won't have them with us next year, because it's going to be a building year, and some of them I think would have been absolutely wonderful to have with us, but we understand and we wish them the best.
Indeed. All right. All in favor for accepting those resignations? Megan.
Aye.
Priscilla.
Aye.
Jason Terry.
Aye.
Jason Benson.
Aye.
And it's an aye for me. Best of luck to all you folks. I think Priscilla said it right. You'll be missed for sure. So, okay, so that's resignations. I believe there was an appointment, which somebody mentioned earlier already. You have any appointment?
I don't know, do any of the principals have their appointment?
I think we heard Laura Rounds. We didn't already accept her, did we?
Don't think so.
So,
No.
okay, I don't know whether the order of that, so you may not have.
Do we need to?
Do you need
Hopefully.
to?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's for next school year, so I don't know if it'll be there yet.
Well, if you're ready to hire her, we'll take your recommendation here and do something with it. So take a motion to, what is her position? Is she going to be hired?
Grade 4 teacher.
Grade 4 teacher. All right. We got a motion to accept Laura Rounds as presented by Principal Kennedy as a 4th grade teacher for the 2021-2022 school year. Did I say it right?
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept Laura Rounds as a fourth grade teacher. Who is she replacing?
So Kate Kane has moved to second grade in Terry's position, and Laura will be taking Kate's position in fourth grade, although Kate was kindergarten this year.
A second.
Okay, so hang on, Priscilla, restate your motion so it's actually sounds way better than mine.
I make a motion that we accept Laura Rounds as our new fourth grade teacher
Still second.
next school year.
So I got a second from Megan. Any discussion?
George, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Miss Hazard, sorry, Miss Hazard, Miss Kennedy, what is, where was Laura Rounds prior again?
She has been in the SU before. She's the last several years has been at her own home daycare and preschool. She's been running. And then she's coming back to us, but she had been, I believe, 5th and 6th grade. I don't have the resume in front of me, but has been in the SU at Westminster and Central before this.
And I think I've seen her in a continual improvement committee meeting for Central last year, year before. She's pretty involved, it seems like. So
Yeah, so she's a parent and she also is part of the PTCO for Central. She's very involved in the school, which we appreciate.
Nice. And what pay and what step are you bringing her in at?
So she's actually step 9. I don't have the full salary in front of me, unfortunately. Less than what had been, she's, replacing somebody, so.
any other questions, comments before we move to a vote? Hearing none. All in favor, Priscilla?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Jason Benson?
Aye.
Jason Terry?
Aye.
Excellent. Welcome aboard, Miss Laura Rounds.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other appointments? I guess that was the only one that I remembered the name. So I'm not sure if there was any more or not. There was a lot of action there for a while, but it seems like maybe that's it for
I
today.
believe that's the only one I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Moving on. Director's comments. Who'd like to go first?
I can go.
Go ahead, Megan.
So I can say it before all of you guys. So I'm not sure if we're going to reconvene before the end of the school year, but I wanted to acknowledge all the hard work that the staff and the students and the administration did for one heck of a year. And I'm not going to pretend I understand one iota of what all of this was like. I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you guys, and to take a second and piggyback off of Priscilla and acknowledge the staff members not returning next year for all their years of service, and to thank them for showing up every day for our kids. And here's hoping that your next adventure is everything you're looking for, because you guys all deserve it. Thanks.
Thank you, Megan. Who's up next? Jason Terry, you turned your mic off. Does it mean you want to say something?
I have no director's comments. Thanks, George.
Okay. Mr. Benson.
It's been a long, hard year for everybody, both students, teachers, and the public. And hopefully next year we're going to start seeing some normalcy, and everybody is going to be able to get back on an even keel once again. Parents will have time to do things they like to do, as well as the staff will have time to do things they like to do. And hopefully the kids will actually be able to get out and get together and play. So fingers crossed, nothing else crazy comes down the pipe. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Priscilla?
Yes, it has been a very difficult year. Every single person, and we do need to spread that kindness to each and every one of them, including each and every one of my fellow board members and our administration and people that are here tonight. Do look forward to some return to normalcy. I think the fact that Vaccinated people can go without their masks outside and inside for the most part at this point is a very, very good positive. Opening it up to 12 to 15-year-olds for the vaccine for those parents that wanted their children to get those vaccines, and making it possible for those children to get together more too is a very positive step. Every time we have a new vaccine, when they first had measles, people were scared to take it. When they had chicken pox, people were scared to take it. That's a normal thing, and it's to be respected because we all approach things in a different way. So just know that the board is here and we're willing to listen, and we care for each and every person out there. Thanks.
It's true, even though it doesn't seem like it all the time. Priscilla's last statement is very true, and appreciate that. I'm not sure if we're going to meet again before Ms. Bukowski rides off into the sunset. So I just want to offer my sincerest thanks to you for overseeing my kids and some others on this board. I have an 8th grader moving up to freshman next year. So you've been with her right from the get-go, and you know, my incoming 5th grader this year. So personal thank you to you, Ms. Bukowski, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have another meeting before you're off. So best wishes to you, and many thanks. So
Thank you, George.
yes, ma'am, thank you. Okay. Let's set the date and time of the next meeting. I can tell you that I'm not going to be in town on the 21st of June. I mean, I could zoom in from somewhere away from here, but I'd rather not. So what do we want to do? Do we want to meet the 7th? Do we have a need to do that? Otherwise, we're going to be getting into July, and you know, any thoughts on what we want to do?
George, I have a question.
Sure.
So seems like there's a lot of, not that it matters, there's a lot of negotiation stuff coming up and policy stuff coming up.
Yeah.
And is it allowed that we skip a month? You know, I'm totally indifferent, but I just, you know, it's a busy time. I don't know the rules.
Yeah, I mean, we're scheduled to meet on the 3rd Monday of every month as a regular meeting. Whether that lasts 5 minutes or an hour and a half, I think we're obligated to well, I guess I see Chris's hand. I'm going to let him go, but I mean, I'll probably explain it better. But I mean, I guess if we were to trade the 3rd Monday for a different Monday, I think that in order to enable ourselves to conduct business, I think that'd be okay. But Chris, if you got something to add to that, that'd be great.
I would suggest that.
Before he adds, can I ask have him comment too on whether we're going to need it as far as, you know, appointments and those kinds of things? Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
It's a good point.
That's what I was going to say. It'd be important for us to have a meeting in June. I would say the 7th or even later than that, because with the amount of positions we have to fill, we are going to need the board to approve these positions before we can move forward with that. So I know it's a busy month for everyone. It's been a busy year, but we really would need to at least warn a board meeting if we do have appointments, that the board can approve them.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm again out on the 21st, which is our scheduled Monday. Do we want to grab the Monday before or the Monday after? Chris, what would you prefer? Because I really don't have a preference. And I mean, the 14th is that last week of school, so I'm sure people are going to be crazy busy, or maybe not. I don't know. Leave it to you.
It's also the high school meeting with 2 of us on that board.
Okay. You're muted.
I would suggest the 7th at this point.
You want to do the 7th as our secondary day?
Yeah, I think, the 14th, it's right in the midst of proms, graduations, all that, and then the 21st year away. So it really only leaves us with the 7th. So I would propose that.
Okay. Couple weeks.
And George, it's 3 weeks from now. So that probably would be smart.
It's out for 3 weeks. Okay. All right.
We can make it short, George.
No, it's fine. No, we have to conduct business if we can. So that's kind of the idea. That's fine. So June 7th. June 7th, 5:30. There's one thing I missed from the SU meeting. There was discussion about in-person stuff. I think we'll follow that conversation and kind of follow suit with how that develops, if that's okay with everybody else. There was more in-depth conversation there I forgot to mention at the SU meeting. So whatever's determined at that level, maybe we'll just follow suit with that, if that works for everybody. Hearing no.
It would be wonderful to be able to be in person.
Okay, so we'll just keep her here to that and follow that lead. Where are we? We have executive session. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss negotiations update from anybody.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss negotiations because of preliminary output to the public could impact the negotiations.
Could harm either party. Sounds good. I get a second.
Second.
All in favor? Priscilla?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Jason Terry?
Aye.
Jason Benson?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll head into executive session.